Meta smart glasses see everything, but should they? Super sensing technology is an AI powered system that enables instant facial recognition, contextual reminders, and activity tracking. The system works by analyzing visual input through the built-in cameras and processing this data through Meta's advanced AI algorithm. The technology in these smart glasses is being deployed into two new smart glasses called Aperol and Bellini. These devices represent the next generation of Meta's smart eyewear lineup. The company is also testing super sensing features on the current Ray-Ban glasses AI models. What do you think about the super sensing features in these glasses that are looks like a supercharged version of what we've seen before? And we covered the hack of the Meta glasses, how people could go out and it was scanning and new people wore, and we saw people go up to say, "Hey, I met you at the conference last year," because it looked up posts they made on social media. And
yeah,
so this becomes that, but worse or pumped up
well,
or way better, depending on.
worse because more people can use it. But this is the news that I've kind of been waiting for, but it also scares the crap out of me. So I love it because this would be great at networking events like we had talked about, where real-time facial recognition, it can identify people by name as you encounter them. It can recognize objects, understand your environment, and trigger context-aware reminders, such as suggesting you grab your keys or remind you about your grocery list as you pass by a store, or as you're leaving the house, right? That would be great for people with ADHD. So the downfall about this is that they have to keep the cameras and sensors active at all times, which feed data consistently to the onboard AI. Apparently, the core innovation is a hands-free, always-on system. And that's where the AI acts like a real-life assistant and anticipates your needs based on what it sees and hears, and responds with voice commands. And responds to voice commands as well, like if you're saying, "Hey, Meta, start live AI," or something like that. But the biggest hurdle, battery life. So tests that they're doing currently show that live AI feature currently only lasts about 30 minutes on the existing Ray-Ban Meta glasses, because it's a high power draw, continuous sensing, analysis, all that sort of stuff. So I think you and I might have covered it, or we at least talked about it. The new glasses that they were working on, that they were talking about probably maybe about 6 months ago. I feel like that's where this is going to come into play, where it's going to work a lot better. But I can't see it working longer, even with the new glasses, longer than, say, maybe 2 hours at the most.
Well, I think it depends on the application. Like, I think let's go through a couple of features and then we'll talk about why I think we're going to get longer running versions than we may think. Super sensing enables real-time identification without bystander indicators. Like, people don't know they're being identified. We have current battery constraints. Environmental scanning suggests actions based on location and context. Facial recognition requires opt-in but lacks bystander opt-out. Meta stores voice data for 1 year without an opt-out option. Continuous data collection risks creating public surveillance networks. Interconnected wearables, earbuds, jewelry may expand sensing capability. Non-display glasses serve as a cost-effective AI testing platform. So take a step back and say, okay, we are really creating a surveillance state, but that's why I think we're going to see police and military versions where the glasses are like hooked up to battery pack on the belt or on the backpack or whatever. So they'll get longer use. But you're doing events, you're doing security, I don't know, at a rally in the US, at a concert here, at whatever, you got to have one guy walking around with this, talking to the police database. So it's got to be proprietary or whatever, identifying people in the crowd, right? So you could really see that. But, again, is that profiling? Is that whatever? If we're just what are we detecting? We're using anger. Are we going to detect these things? Or are we just going to read a database of criminals? Like, what is the long-term intent of this? So that's one thing from a military or a police point of view, right? It's easy now for something like this for a military group, insurgents doing whatever, to determine if their target is here in the square, find them quickly, have the AI identify, track, and all that kind of stuff. So I could see that. But there's another thing to give the world of YouTubers and TikTokers and sensationalists. We see this at the gym and at the grocery store and at whatever. People are pranking on the subway and doing all this crap that just is a complete disruption to society. And now we're just going to give them more tools to do that as a civilian group of people. It just starts to scare me that group will become 100 times fold now that this will just become easy to do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like when you're out in a public space, you can't really expect privacy, and this just takes it one step further and makes it even worse. Like there's going to be no privacy, and I think we're getting to the point where I don't know if you remember the movies where people are wearing specific clothing, specific things on their faces and stuff like that. Like I think we're getting close to that. The thing is how society manages these technologies. It's going to depend on transparency, consent, and well-designed privacy safeguards. So the tech itself could be game-changing, but misuse or inadequate oversight could completely erode that. And that's what scares the crap out of me, because we're so far behind when it comes to oversight with AI right now that I don't know if we're ever going to catch up. I hope we do, but we're so far behind because AI is moving so fast. I don't know if we're going to properly deal with this, if that makes sense.
We're not. I think it's impossible. Like, I don't understand how anybody could think we could deal with this properly. Once you have technology like this that is contextual aware, it knows where you are, what environment this is. So not only location, but the concert, the venue, all that stuff, and it's recognized everyone else around you, recommends tasks based on your environment, has smart reminders and object recognition. And you have hundreds of these people in the crowd. When I say these people, glass holes, if you want to call them that, because to go way back, where are these glasses recording everything? And the battery technology is going to get better. We know for a fact, we talk about new battery technology all the time on the show, and the stuff's coming out next year and the year after that. It's going to double, triple, quadruple the battery life of capabilities of some of these things. So now you can run these things for 4 or 5 hours and record, do local recognition, local recording, cloud recording, stream, and it's available to everyone all the time. I feel like we're in that. What was that where they had it wired in your head and you could feel the feed?
Yeah.
Where everyone was, why do we need this? And
I think, if we're talking about current technology to kind of mitigate this, I think the quickest solution to kind of try to control this or try to mitigate it as much as we can is geofencing, because they're always going to be connected. So they're going to know where they are. So if they're in a certain area, obviously hackers are going to get around that. But I think that would be the best way right now is like set up a geofence. And if you're within the geofence, then your glasses don't work.
This has got to be against every EU privacy policy I can possibly imagine.
Yeah, maybe it's time to move to the EU.
Well, I'm just saying that it's not really talked about here. Like, they talk about the company response and the privacy issues, but we don't really talk about, hey, what is the EU going to do about this? But there are some extra insights on, but they're making, you can't do this, you can't do that, privacy, everyone's, data has to be controlled by them. So if you're walking around and it's identifying people and recording them and publishing it all the time, it's one thing to randomly catch a picture. It's another thing in a public place. It's another thing to go in and out of public and private spaces, collect video and identify those people and, do stuff with that data. That's a completely separate thing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But having taken a step back, who doesn't want these glasses? Who, you want to walk in a room and identify the people you need to talk to and be able to have their name pop up and whatnot when you go to talk to them and have whatever, maybe some social posts or your last email interactions be over there so you can have an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, your last conversation. Have you had a conversation with them? Like with the amount of networking events that you and I are going to, I'm finding more and more of a need for something. And I'm sure I could do this just using automation workflows, but I can't do it in real time. Figuring out if I've talked to someone before, what I've talked to them about. There's so many people nowadays that it's tough for me to keep track of everything, which is why I've started going to less networking events.
Well, you say you can't do that in real time, and I know we're getting a little out of the way, but if you had like Siri or Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever, you can say, hey, where do I know Bill Hayden from or whatever? I just made up a name because you just met the person, and have it go away, and it could come back, speak to you. It could do whatever. If you have an earplug in, it could show you what have you. So, it's not going to be identify the person from across the room and do all that for you. You're going to have to say, hey, who is this person?
Yeah. Well, first off, definitely not Siri, because Siri is the worst of them all. So like maybe Gemini Assistant or something like that.
You can hook Siri now up to these external AIs. You can use Siri to call whatever you want. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Siri has been the worst of all of them since day one, and they've never improved it. And like when you ask Siri a question, it still just gives you a web result, does it not?
Yeah, it's worse than when they bought it. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But back to Meta glasses. That's all right. I started the diversion. I see that there's going to be a lot of legal frameworks that are lagging behind wearable AI capabilities. Because I'm with you. What I would like is, and this is probably what OpenAI is coming up with, because they're decided their IO device is not going to be, it's not a wearable, but it's something you would have on you that's context aware. So I think you're going to have something that listens either all the time or when you press a button, but just is with you, knows your geography, also knows all your agents and stuff in the back end, knows where you're supposed to be, your calendar. So everything is in context.
Yeah.
So when I sit down with you, I don't have to tell it I'm sitting down with you. It records our conversation and I go away. I don't tell it anything. It knows all that. It transcribes it. It sends to my agents. It does all the things I'm supposed to do in the back end. I don't have to tell it anything. Yeah. That I think is a future that they're heading for. But again, that's just a guess. But you tie these Meta glasses in the same type of thing, but now you're getting video and images. We're living in a futuristic world, that's for sure. So there's one thing of recording everything, and then there's the other thing about being distracted by feeds that you can now project on your glasses. Yeah. So I think we're going to be a far more distracted society and a far more, there is no such thing as privacy.
Yeah. There was an article, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, where Mark Zuckerberg said if people in the future, people that aren't wearing these AI glasses are going to be left in the dust. Which, yes and no.
Well, what future? And I could see that. Like, it's just like if you're not using AI agents, you're going to be left in the dust. If you're not using workflow and automation tools, you're going to be left in the dust. But when does the glasses become that next level of agent control?
Yeah.
That's the, when you'll be left behind if you don't have your alerts, your agents, you're controlling them all visually, you know what's happening. You can interact with stuff and say, hey, I like that. Order me something from that restaurant. I'll pick it up in a bit. I see a theater up there. Grab me some tickets, whatever. Like, there's so many different use cases, but having it context aware, being able to see what you can see here, knowing where you are, and just being able to say general things and getting what you want back is going to be an interesting world.
Yeah, for sure.
But the world, everyone's running around talking to themselves right now as it is, because they're always on the phone. They're always distracted by screen. So the more technology integrated we get, the less human we become.
There's one thing I started doing that this new what I've started doing, because I used to walk around with my phone in my hand all the time, right? Whenever I get up, I'd get it in my hand and walk around, even if I was just going upstairs. But now I've started trying to just leave it there. walk away. If I'm only going for a few minutes, like, and it's been great. It's been a good exercise to do.
Yeah, now we're going to strap glasses to your head and you're not going to be able to see without them, so you won't be able to leave behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the technology is really cool. I love the direction we're going. You throw this along with some of the night vision glasses / contact lenses we were talking about. You can really get some cool technology in these things. I'd love to know what you think. Are you going to be grabbing a pair and streaming this stuff online? Are you going to be using it for something else? I can see all sorts of apps being used for this. Things are going off in my head right now. Let's build apps for this today. Are you going to use these? Are you going to avoid people who use these? Or you think it's the end of privacy? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So what do you got going on, John? This will probably be early September.
Early September. So not much. I'll be have some office hours at TBDC. Obviously, there's startup drinks in September, TechTO in September, and this will be in October, but Elevate. So yeah,
and we'll have Flowgrammer events as
Flowgrammer.
Yeah. So check a look at torontostarts.com, flowgrammer.ca for all that details. And you help people get non-dilutive funding, John. What does that mean? Who should reach out to you? How does that work?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's a disconnect between what an actual startup is and what the government thinks a startup is. So you need to be around for at least 2 years if you're looking for anything other than a hiring grant. If you're looking for a hiring grant, those are easy to do on your own. But if you're looking for anything other than that, reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's the best way. But for any startup business coaching or needs, what do they do, Craig?
Just head over to torontostarts.com. Almost everything we do is over there. We help startups succeed. There's mentoring, there's templates, there's our workshops, there's grant information, there's programs, there's events, there's all sorts of stuff. Go check that out. And everything's over there. If you're looking to automate your business, use AI and automation tools to take your business next level, cut expenses, grow your business, check out flowgrammer.ca and the services over there. We also run an Inner Circle Builders Club where we're having our members building new stuff every week. If you're just getting started, if you're into that, if you need a team around you to help you consistently build and ship product, take a look at flowgrammer.ca and think about joining our Inner Circle.
Absolutely.
And that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks everyone.